Alright guys, welcome back to the Marksmanship tuning changes or review, and we'll see what Blizzard has actually done to Dark Ranger and whether or not it's actually going to be viable this coming Tuesday with the tuning changes and everything. So alright, here we go. The developers note Dark Ranger's performance is lower than expected. Well, it's been lower since the expansion was launched, and they marketed it as one of the the cool ones to go for. It's been dead ever since, so we'll see if they held up their end of the bargain here. Alright. They are going to tune it to make it closer than where they'd like to be, and they're going to be using Phantom Pain as a compelling source of damage for Mythic Plus, AoE, and then combined with True Shot and Withering Fire. Alright, well let's see. Explosive Shot increased by 15%, Volley increased by 25%. This is universal. This also applies to Sentinel. So it's just an overall buff to AoE, and Explosive Shot for single target damage, so pretty good. Alright, and Dark Ranger, Black Arrow increased by 50%. Black Arrow periodic effect duration increased by 4 seconds, up from 10. Phantom Pain damage share increased to 24%, was 8%, so this is triple what it was. Blake Powder damage increased by 100%, and Withering Fire now prioritizes the enemies that do not have the Black Arrow periodic damage effect. If you don't know what any of this stuff means, basically, if you haven't played Dark Ranger, the Black Arrow basically replaces Kill Shot, and it just does a dot instead of the direct damage, increasing it by 50%. It lasts 14 seconds. Phantom Pain is an AoE modifier for a Dark Ranger that makes it so when you aim shot somebody with Black Arrow, 24% of it, well now it says 24%, it was a 24% of it now, I mean with the changes of Kill Shot is going to spread to anybody that has Black Arrow on it, and Black Arrow can be spread with Trick Shots. It is also affected by Trick Shots. And Blink Powder damage increased by 100%. This basically means that when you spread Black Arrow with Trick Shots, it explodes. It deals a certain amount of damage, and now that damage increased by 100%. Withering Fire now prioritizes enemies that do not have the Black Arrow periodic damage effect. So Withering Fire means that whenever you cast a True Shot, that well actually let me just show you. All right. Withering Fire. True Shot is active. You surrender to the darkness, granting you death blow. While Black Arrow is under the effect of Withering Fire, causes you to additionally fire a barrage of 2 additional Black Arrows at nearby targets at 50% effectiveness. This now prioritizes people that don't have Black Arrow. That's basically what it means. All right, and let's just get right into it. This is a single target. This is the single target build for Dark Ranger. Now, I know a lot of people did not play Dark Ranger ever since the expansion launched, simply because it just isn't good, and understandably so. But this is what we are going to run, at least from what the Hunter Discord has put together for the single target, for raid especially, what we are going to look at. Now let's show you the sims that I have put together with my current gear. Now if you've seen the Survival Hunter video, you'll see that I'm using my gear to sim this, not the best in slot stuff. I'm just doing it because it's more realistic. Casual players like me don't really have the time, or we're not running 14s and 15s. We're just playing the game, getting the gear that the game gives us. So what we end up is where we end up. So it's a more realistic scenario. All right. So the only thing I changed is, well, obviously the weapon. It's not going to be a polearm. It's going to be a bow, and it's not a very ideal bow, but this is what we got. The neck piece, previously I had like a 639 crit mastery one. I put this in here because it has more crit, and it's also a higher item level, and marksman likes crit, so I just use that. My belt, I'm going to actually lower it to a crafted belt that I have not upgraded it yet because it has crit on it. That's one reason. And well, I think that's really it. Trinkets are the same, everything else is the same. So yeah, my criticals right now is actually lower than mastery, so by quite a bit. Mainly because I'm a survival main. I prioritize more mastery over crit, so I've got to get it up there, but 37% is pretty good. So anyway, let me show you the sims for single target. This is what the sim, what Raidbots has to say about it. Now, there it is. Okay, for single target sims, currently Marksman Sentinel is doing, well, 2 million damage, at least for me, with my current gear. Now, after the sims, well, actually, no, let me just go back down to Dark Ranger currently. Dark Ranger is in the dumps, currently. Not the changes doesn't come in yet, obviously. Now, What did the tuning changes do to Dark Ranger for single target? Well, nothing much, just all the way at the top. Now it's the best rating hero talent that you can get from Marksman. So, even better than Sentinel actually. 2.4% ahead of Sentinel. And it's actually a little bit better too for a 2 target because of the dot that, you know, Black Arrow has. So, we're probably going to be seeing quite a bit of Dark Ranger Marksman Hunters in the raid this Tuesday. We might even see them on Mythic. You know, fingers crossed that Marksman actually gets some love this expansion at some point you know. Alright, now let me show you the AoE portion of this video. The AoE portion, this is what we are going to be using for Dark Ranger. Now, obviously, we'll be switching over to Phantom Pain because Phantom Pain got buffed pretty well. And we're also going to be using Dark Chain. Well, this is more utility than anything, but still. Alright, this is what we're going to be using for Dark Ranger. And according to RateBots, this is what I came up with my current gear. And this is what it says. This is how we're doing for Mythic Plus 6 target cleave and what it looks like on Tuesday. Okay, so as it stands right now, going into the tuning changes, Sentinel is still going to be top for Mythic Plus. Unfortunately, the changes that was intended for Dark Ranger AoE is not quite there yet. However, it is a heck a lot better than what it was. It is 24% better than what it is currently sitting at with Dark Ranger. Now, does it mean it's viable or not viable for Mythic Plus? I'll put it this way, the same thing I said for Survival when I made the video. If you are clearing 10s and 11s and 12s, maybe even 13s, comfortably with very little issues, as Marksman, even as Sentinel, you are fine. You are completely, perfectly fine. If you're not one of those key pushers, you'll be okay. Now, you'll be doing a little bit less damage than you will be, even with the changes to Dark Ranger, but you will still be okay. Trust me, you'll be fine. You're still... Marksman is one of the best AoE damage dealers in the entire game. You're gonna be okay. You can play Dark Ranger if you want. I'm not gonna kick you from the group if I see you. Okay? But yeah, that about covers it for the Dark Ranger changes for Mythic Plus, for single target. Some of the sims on here. I do want to show you something though. This is not my sim, however this is Azor's sim. If you don't know who Azor is, he is the guide writer for Marksman on Wowhead and the guide writer for all Hunter classes on Icy Veins. This is his sim for single target. Now keep in mind a disclaimer here. Where I use my own gear for all these sims, he is using best in slot 678 item level templates for all these. So I'll link this in the video description down below, and you can see for yourself. I think the description of these are self-explanatory. If you want to just look at them yourself on your own time, you can go ahead. This is for single target. Remember, these are Azor sims with best in slot everything. And this is his AoE sims for best in slot everything. Marksman is... yeah. That's why you're fine in Mythic Plus. You're okay. You're going to be fine if you play Marksman in AoE in Mythic Plus. You're going to be completely fine even if you play Dark Ranger. You're good to go. Alright, well that's it for me for today. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to my videos if you like any of these. And I'll see you guys Tuesday. Have fun, guys. Have a good night.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.